There are certain fighters in the UFC who changed training camps where their career has not been the same ever since. So here is 5 fighters whose camp changes didn't work out. Number 5. Matt Browne has always remained a top welterweight in the UFC, where he has racked up wins over the best welterweights in the world. After losing to Damian Maia by a rear naked choke at UFC 198, he decided to move to Dwayne Ludwig and the Elevation Fight Team to fix holes in his overall game. But the change in training camp didn't do him no good. He would next face Jake Ellenberger at UFC 201, where he lost the fight by TKO in the first round. He would next face Donald Cerrone at UFC 206, where he was knocked out in the third round. He's now scheduled to face Diego Sanchez at UFC Final 120 in his last MMA bout, and hopefully he is able to go out with a win. Number 4. Anthony Pettis was once on top of the world, where he was the reigning UFC lightweight champion who had just looked unstoppable. He always represented the Rufus Sport team, which had helped shape him into the fighter he is today. After losing his title to Rafael dos Anjos at UFC 185 and losing to Eddie Alvarez by a split decision at UFC Final 81, he decided it was time to spend time with Izzy Martinez at Jackson Wink to work on his takedown defense. In his next fight, he would lose to Edson Barboza by a unanimous decision at UFC 197. With 3 losses in a row, he made the move to the featherweight division, where he would defeat Charles Oliveira by a guillotine choke at UFC on Fox 21. He would next lose to Max Holloway by TKO at UFC 206. He finally bounced back, defeating Jim Miller by a unanimous decision at UFC 213. Hopefully, he is able to get his confidence back and continue working his way up the lightweight ladder. Number 3. Rashad Evans is the former UFC light heavyweight champion who had always remained at the top of the light heavyweight division for a very long time. After leaving Jackson Wink, Rashad Evans fought John Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title at UFC 145, losing by a unanimous decision. He would next lose to Antonio Rogerio Nogueira by a unanimous decision at UFC 156. He bounced back from the losses, defeating Dan Henderson by a split decision at UFC 161 and pulled off a TKO victory over Charles Sonnen at UFC 167. Things started to look bright for Rashad Evans, but it didn't last long. After a 2-year layoff, he made his comeback, losing to Ryan Bader at UFC 192 and losing to Glover Teixeira at UFC on Fox 19. With 2 losses in a row, he made the drop down to the middleweight division, where he is currently on a 2-fight losing streak. He doesn't have much time to turn things around, as it seems like he's near the end of his career. Hopefully he is able to pick himself up and go out with the victory. Number 2. Jake Ellenberger was once one of the biggest prospects in the welterweight division, where his ruthless aggression and his raw power helped him run through fighters with ease. However, in 2014, he changed camps to the famous Glendale Fight Club, where things rapidly started to go downhill for him quite quickly. He would lose to Robbie Lawler at UFC 173 and to Kelvin Gastelum at UFC 180. He next picked up a win over Josh Koscheck at UFC 184, but lost his next 2 fights to Stephen Thompson and Tarek Safadine. He would change his camps again, where he moved to Master Rafael Cordero at King's MMA, where in his next fight, he would finish Matt Browne by TKO in the first round at UFC 201. With this victory, things started to look good for Jake Ellenberger, but it didn't last long. He would next lose to Jorge Masvidal at the Ultimate Fighter 24 finale and would get knocked out by Mike Perry at UFC Final 108. Switching camps hasn't gone well for Jake Ellenberger, as his confidence has somehow disappeared. Hopefully, he is able to make a comeback and get back to winning some fights. Number 1. After putting together 3 violent finishes over Gabriel Gonzaga, Alistair Overeem and Josh Barnett, Travis Browne was making a lot of noise in the heavyweight division, where he was on the verge of a title shot. He next faced Fabricio Verdum in a title eliminator bout at UFC on Fox 11, where he would lose by a unanimous decision. After this loss, he moved his training camp from Jackson Wink to Glendale Fight Club. The camp change would massively have a huge impact on his career. He would defeat Brendan Schaub at UFC 181 and lose to Andrei Arlovsky at UFC 187. He picked up another win over Matt Mitrione at UFC Final 81. From this moment onwards, things immediately went downhill for Travis Browne. He would next suffer 4 losses in a row to Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Verdum, Derek Lewis and Alexei Oleinik. He is now on the brink of being cut from the UFC roster, and hopefully he is able to bounce back and climb the heavyweight ladder once again.